Nintendo is shit. In the last 2 decades, the only thing Nintendo has done is found the perfect way to monetize overpriced nostalgia slop to its consumers. But at the end of the day, Nintendo does own Pokemon. And in case you are not aware, Pokemon is literally the biggest franchise in the world. It's the most powerful, it's the most influential, it's the most expensive one. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek, and all of these things put together actually do not stand a chance against the power of Pokemon. And Nintendo has been burning the goodwill of the fans for years. Now, slowly, and sadly, this is not still the point. But with the fact that now Pokemon by many is considered a cheap knockoff off of Palworld because Palworld is just so much more better and fun as a game, which the sales probably at this point is safe to say that have proved, considering how that thing outsold many different Pokemon games in an instant. But that's not the story here now, is it? It's the fact that Nintendo is running out of goodwill. Now, we're not going to see the collapse of Nintendo anytime soon, probably, because even after Legends ZA, which is absolute AI slop, with zero heart, zero thought put into it, something that is overpriced and literally made to be predatory against gamers, even that did not collapse because there are some Pokemon fans that are going to buy pretty much used bumper stickers of Pokemon if Nintendo sells them for $200 and they would be happy about it because their lives are just miserable and hollow. We still need to deal with the fact that these people exist, and then Nintendo will finally fall.
What is Pokemon doing now, man? I thought after Legends ZA was a complete dumpster fire, we wouldn't be talking about Pokemon making massive mistakes again until Generation 10 inevitably disappoints everybody, but nope, I was wrong. I was too optimistic apparently, and honestly, now that I think about it, this really comes as a surprise to absolutely nobody. I mean, Pokemon has been taking advantage of its player base for like a decade now, but guys, today Pokemon is in the headlines again, and this time even more of the diehard fanboys are furious. Why are people mad this time? Well, it's because Pokemon's next release is looking like it's going to be a game key card, but is this actually confirmed? Is this a big deal, and why are they doing this today? We're gonna dig a little bit deeper.
Well, they're doing this because it's less expensive and they can charge you more. That's right, you're gonna be paying that $70 for pixels again. Oh yes, because you don't need physical things, do you? Oh, a thing that actually exists in the useless three-dimensional space that we live in? No one wants that, says Nintendo. Also, that costs more money for us, and this way, we make more money.
Figure out what exactly is going on, but first, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Tiger came to say hi. She said you guys should drop a like down below so we can fight off the Pokemon fanboys. I like to think she's saying hi to me, but really she just wants to look at the birds out the window. All right, let's jump right in here. This was just posted over on nintendoeverything.com. Pokemon Pokopia breaks tradition for Nintendo published Switch 2 games, will be a game key card. Information about Pokemon Pokopia is trickling out, and one of the big tidbits making the rounds is that it'll be a game key card. That information comes from—
By the way, you know what's the funniest part about this? Nintendo is never gonna let the dollar slide by. The greed is beyond Blizzard at this point, honestly. You know what I think is gonna happen with Pokemon? They're gonna try to get rid of all the physical stuff. And then at some point, Nintendo is gonna come back and say, oh, we hear the fans who want physical things that actually, can be placed in, rooms and in real life and stuff. So we're gonna be the good guys, and we're gonna bring back physical copies. And they're gonna bring them back for like twice the price or something like that. The physical copies of your Pokemon games and whatnot, they're gonna probably be bumped up to $120, and Nintendo's gonna be like, aha, we did it, we did good. And all all the Nintendo super fanboys, all the Pokemon super fans are gonna be like, "Wow, Nintendo, you're so great for giving us something that has existed all this time, but you blatantly ripped it away and now are reselling to us with double the price and even less the quality. Wow, you're so good." That's probably what's gonna happen. The Pokemon super fans have been a cornerstone of the destruction of the IP, of making Pokemon verse in general. If you're a Pokemon super fan and you support Nintendo's blatantly anti-consumer business practices, at the end of the day, you're just hurting yourself, but you're also hurting others.
From a new video Nintendo put up today. In it, the company explains the difference between a game that's fully on the cartridge and a game keycard. Pokemon Pokopia was used as an example of the latter. But here's the thing, Pokemon Pokopia already has a massive competitor coming down the pipeline, and we're going to talk about that later in the video. So if you don't want to support Pokemon Pokopia, there is a fantastic alternative we'll talk about in a minute. And here is the picture that Nintendo used in this official video. As you can see, Pokemon Pokopia, on the very bottom it has the infamous game key card banner, and right next to it it says 10 gigabyte full game download via internet required. Remember a few months ago when Nintendo addressed the press and said that the reason that they made game key cards is because the third-party games that are bigger than 64 gigabytes wouldn't be able to fit their full game on a Switch 2 cartridge? Well, while that is technically true, it seems to be the case that even Pokemon is going the route of picking game key cards for one obvious reason. It is to save money. There is literally no excuse for a 10 gigabyte game to be on a game key card, especially one that is literally a farming simulator. Some third-party games have the excuse that they need faster read speeds, which can only be achieved by putting the game on the internal storage of the Switch 2, and therefore they have no choice but to go with the game key card. And a lot of people understood that argument. Some people were still a little bit skeptical.
Oh yeah, they have no choice but to do the thing that saves them money, and they had no choice, dude. Okay, relax. They had no choice. They never had a choice.
I think that argument does actually check out, but that's not the point of today's video. We're talking about Pokemon today, and one of the questions that I had was like, okay, well, this screenshot was showed off in a video where Nintendo was just explaining the difference between a full game on cartridge and a game key card. Is it possible that maybe they just used Pokemon Pokopia as an example here, right? Like,
No.
it would be horrible PR and it would be a massive mistake for them to do that, but maybe it's the case that this won't be a game key card and this was just a fluke. But nope, we actually have a second source of this information that
Let's think about this, okay? Nintendo having a possibility to save money and make more money. Nintendo doing the right thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's a toss-up. I don't know.
actually confirms that Pokemon Pokopia will be a game key card, as you can see on Pokemon's official website for Pokemon Pokopia. If we actually translate this to English, I don't know why it makes the logo so big, but at the very bottom you'll see some important information. We can see that there will be a download version of the game and a packaged version of the game, so a physical version, and it says right here that it will be a key card. So pre-orders for this game are going to go up in 2 days, so that's November 13th, I guess, and the game is apparently coming out March 5th 2026, so we are a couple of months away from the release of Pokemon Pokopia. So some of you might be wondering, like, okay, well, why is this really such a big deal, right? I mean, we've seen a bunch of games on key cards already since the release of the Switch 2, and the reason that this is a big deal is because it'll be the first Nintendo published title on Nintendo Switch 2 that is a game key card. We've already seen a Pokemon release on the system, Pokemon Legends ZA, and that was fully on the cartridge. You could make the case that the Pokemon Company is co-publishing, but regardless, it does still count. And to further elaborate here, we just saw the release of Hyrule Warriors, which is not technically a first-party Nintendo game, it's a Warriors game, right? But it's still published by Nintendo because the entire game is based around the Legend of Zelda IP, right? And we saw that Hyrule Warriors was a full game on the cartridge. So if the Zelda IP published by Nintendo got a full game on cartridge, why is this Pokemon game published by Nintendo not a full game on the cartridge, and why is it a game key card? Well, the answer is obvious.
Because Pokemon fans are never gonna say no to it. Zelda fans can actually say no to a game. They actually have some standards, even though if you're a Nintendo fan in general, your standards are probably slipping slowly because that's just how Nintendo does things. But at the end of the day, Pokemon fans are gonna eat literally all the slop. And they're gonna be thankful for the slop and ask for more slop. That's probably the big takeaway here, the big end all be all for this. And I don't think there is a way to actually, like uh even remotely try to disprove that. Because let's be real, there are millions upon millions of people who actually want Nintendo to destroy Palworld because it's kinda close to Pokemon. And Pokemon deserves to be the only thing that has, like, battle pets and stuff in existence. Yeah. Not great, is it now? So, that's as simple as it gets, I honestly think. It's pathetic.
It is what I have been drilling down on since the reveal trailer of Legends EA, and that is the fact that Pokemon fans will buy the slop regardless. We saw them coming out in droves defending Pokemon Legends EA, even though it was obvious to anybody who looked at the gameplay footage for 2 seconds that this was a rushed cash grab. I mean, every sign pointed in that direction, and yet you
whoa, it was AI cash grab, okay, buddy? It wasn't a rushed cash grab, it was AI cash grabbing.
Still had journalists over at like VGC giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. Like, hello, what universe are you in? People over on Twitter saying, I don't care about the backlash, this is my favorite Pokemon game ever. And it's just like, oh my god, like the lack of self-respect is just so sad, right? Like, I don't know how delusional you have to be for that to be the case, but anyway, the reason that this is a game key card is simple. First of all, they're going to save money manufacturing this thing. Second of all, the Pokemon slop enjoyers are just gonna buy this no matter what. They don't care. You could grab a steaming turd out of the toilet and write Pokemon in poop on a hat and it would fly off the shelves because these people, they have no standards, right? They'll just buy any.
Based, someone's actually saying this. I mean, a lot of people are kind of saying this, but most people are kind of hiding around the bush when it comes to calling out Nintendo, because a lot of people are afraid, oh no, the Nintendo fanboys are gonna attack me. What are they gonna do? 5% extra negative likes on the video? Oh no, the tragedy. I'm so afraid.
Anything Pokemon related. So again, all of my criticism for the Pokemon franchise lately has been this point exactly. If you continue to financially support mediocrity, you will continue to get mediocrity. That is just, I mean, that's just big.
By the way, there's probably some people who are currently, they're not even Pokemon fans, but they're just stupid consumers, and they're like, well, what do you care? The things that are around you are bad and making the world a worse place. I love the argument of, well, why do you care? Man, that's such a good one. Why do you care? Yes, why do I care that things that I like are getting worse? I don't know. A mystery. So someone resurrect Sherlock Holmes. We got a case for him.
Business. Why would they give you a quality product if you're willing to buy garbage? They make hundreds of millions of dollars off of these people, and every release gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and they are just pushing the envelope with how lazy they can get, how little
I mean, we literally live in a world where Pokemon nowadays are like ice cream cones and shit, so, it's kind of bad
they can give the consumer, and the Pokemon fans are still gobbling it down, right? They're gonna say, all of a sudden, we don't care that it's a game key card, right? Like, that's what the Pokemon fanboys are gonna say. They're gonna say, oh, suddenly I don't care anymore. It's not a big deal, right? Deal with it. It's just a game key card, right? And like, fair enough, but like, man, the Pokemon franchise has been taking advantage of you for the better part of a decade, and you're over here white knighting and defending the billion-dollar corporation, like, buddy.
Oh, that is a good title for the video. Pokemon, let me write it down. Pokemon fans defend AI slop. Or something like that. I'm gonna figure it out later. But that's a great title name.
Seek help. Like, I don't know, like, what else am I supposed to tell you guys? Like, it's so sad. And do you really think that they're going to stop here? Let's just be honest with ourselves, right? Remember when the Switch 2 came out and everyone was like, oh, well, all the first party games are on cartridge, right? And I know that this is not technically first party, but at least we could say, oh, well, the Nintendo published games, at least they're safe. They're gonna be full game on cartridge, right? Well, this is a perfect example.
Yes, surely.
example of boiling the frog. Every couple of minutes, you turn the heat up by 1 degree, and all of a sudden the frog boils itself alive. If the
By the way, just an FYI about that, that saying is complete bullshit. The frog obviously notices the change in temperature and just jumps out, which is a perfect metaphor for what's slowly but surely happening here. Because again, we have seen this so many times. Blizzard burned through all of its good graces with fans. Bungie burned through all of its good graces with fans. Fuck, look at Bethesda, my favorite dead horse to punch at this point. God, I love punching Bethesda. In a metaphorical sense, YouTube, Jesus Christ. Look at Bethesda. I mean, people literally are currently hoping that Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 gets cancelled, because what's the point of getting a game that's gonna be slop and bad? Because people don't believe that Bethesda can make anything good. It doesn't matter how many million fans you had. Well, in case of Pokemon, it doesn't matter that you were the biggest franchise in the world. Still technically are, well, not technically, you still literally are. But the more people call this stuff out, the more people speak out against these negative anti-consumer business practices, the more people will notice this and not be fine with it. Knowing what's happening is important. Okay, knowing what's happening, especially when something bad is happening, is important. Awareness is something that is actually very valuable, and I don't think it's gonna happen this year. I don't think it's gonna happen next year. But at this rate that we're going, in like 2 or 3 years, Pokemon could actually see some pretty big problems with their sales, because people are just tired of their slop. Because think about it, Legends ZA probably didn't even. How much was the budget for that garbage? Not even 100 million? Yeah, because it was AI made, and people bought it. Like, if I'm in finance in Pokemon, I'm like, yeah, let's do that again, or again times 5. Clearly the outrage didn't matter. That didn't actually impact the sales. Usually outrage does impact sales nowadays, okay? But as long as, well, I don't even know if Pokemon would be susceptible to the fact that if they go super woke or something like that, would that even impact them? But it's gonna slowly start to do it over time. How many bad games can you honestly play in a row from Pokemon and enjoy them? Probably not a lot.
physical version of this game sells well, there is no reason for them to not start putting more games that are published by Nintendo on game key cards. And again, if this thing flies off the shelves, what are the odds that generation 10 will be a game key card? I know it sounds crazy, I know it sounds insane that this would never happen, but let's be real, Pokemon fans have proven time and time again that they don't care. They will consume the slop. Why would it stop there, right? It could go even farther than that. Now I hope it doesn't.
Pokemon fans, Pokemon fans love slop and defend it. Beautiful, beautiful. Now that is a title, boys.
Right, as somebody who has a full shelf of physical games over here, not a game key card in sight, I really love physical media, which is why game key cards are just garbage, right? Like, it's the worst of both worlds.
I don't love physical media. I literally don't care. I currently own literally 0 physical copies of any game that I play. I used to own the physical copies for World of Warcraft, Burning Crusade, and Classic. Right, and the Lich King, actually. Oh, but I threw them out the moment I could add the code on Battle.net. But you need to understand, I still support this stuff because it's important. I personally don't care that much to use use a CD key and Steam, and I know that I don't own anything there, but at the same time, I still want these to be an options for the people who actually care about it, because this is a good thing that the company is forced to respect their fans and to do what the fans actually want.
You still have to go to the store to get it, and it's a waste of plastic. So it's just like one day that's just gonna be in the ocean somewhere for no reason, right? Because you could just download it and have a better experience. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, Pokemon is the most valuable media franchise in the entire world, and it's not even close. It is way more valuable than even second place. Like, look at this. Okay, Pokemon's in first place.
Oh, I actually never looked at this. Huh.
$113 billion. Second place is Mickey Mouse at 61.
Winnie the Pooh? Man, China's carrying that one hard.
You have to literally combine.
Okay, listen. After Kathleen Kennedy,
second and third place just to reach Pokemon's heights, okay? And
then after that it was Star Wars. Listen, okay? Star Wars, it's not Star Wars' fault that Kathleen Kennedy decided to turn $1 billion franchise into a barely $1 million franchise, okay? We should cut Star Wars a little bit of slack, you know?
They are still nickel and diming their customers. They are still...
Wait, but who the hell... How is Winnie the Pooh so valuable? I'm sorry. Is it actually China, like, carrying the flag there, or what's exactly happening?
Cutting corners, and they are spitting in the faces of their loyal fans and just giving them the bare minimum, like they have been doing time and time again. And honestly, the Pokemon fans deserve it. I mean, really, they do deserve to be taken advantage of, because they have no self-respect. Like, they will just buy anything. Like, if you will buy anything, you deserve to be taken advantage of. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Based, I love you. You're my spirit animal now. Okay, it is what it is, omniTV. It is what it is, spirit animal time.
The only way to stop getting taken advantage of is to stop supporting the company, but they can't do it. They simply cannot do it. Let's see what Reddit has to say about this, okay? I know it's not developed by them, but I thought something like this Nintendo would ensure was a real cartridge. Yeah, completely surprised it's a key card. You shouldn't be. You really should not be surprised that this is a game key card, because I've said it once, I'll say it again.
I don't use Reddit a lot, but when there's like 107 upvotes and 126 comments, that means a lot of people are probably downvoting this, huh?
Again, Pokemon Legends EA proved that the slop enjoyers will just buy anything. The game does not have to be finished. They could charge you for DLC on day one that is clearly just cut content. They don't have to try. The game does not have to be polished. It doesn't have to be finished. It doesn't have to be a particularly good game.
And, you know, okay, now let's talk about the super bad part, okay? Nintendo can release their 2, 3, 5 AI slop games in a row and people are gonna buy it. And when they start to see the dip, you know what they just need to do? They just need to, not even make, but announce an actually good Pokemon game. Something that's innovative, better, you know? That doesn't remind you of, you know, graphics from games 25 years ago at this point. They just need to announce that. They don't even need to make that. They just need to announce that, and they're going to be back in the good graces. And then, when the going gets super rough, then they just need to make something semi-good. Not even good, but semi-good. And people are gonna sing the praise of Nintendo. Again, that's what happens when something is just this powerful as a brand. It is what it is. In any case, that was a 10 out of 10. That was omniarctv 10 out of 10. Bye!